Welcome to Prayer Decode, your sanctuary for divine insight and spiritual empowerment. Have you ever wondered how a simple prayer can transform your night and fill your heart with peace? What if the ancient wisdom of the Psalms held the secret to a restful, protected sleep? Join me as we explore these profound questions and discover the timeless promise of God's love and protection. If you're curious to learn more and find answers that can uplift your spirit, stay tuned until the end of this video. And don't forget to subscribe to Prayer Decode for more inspiring messages and transformative prayers that will guide you on your journey of faith. In the stillness of the evening, when the world quiets down and the mind begins to wind its way through the events of the day, there comes a time to pause and reconnect with the one who offers us unyielding comfort and protection. Tonight, I invite you to join me in a heartfelt prayer, a prayer steeped in the ancient wisdom of the Psalms, yet enriched with personal reflections and insights drawn from years of faith and experience. Whether you have weathered many storms in your life or simply seeking peace in a world that often feels overwhelming, this time of prayer is for you. We will explore the reassuring promises found in sacred scripture, reflect on the nature of God's protective embrace, and share personal testimonies of hope and renewal. For those of us between the ages of 45 and 65, life has often presented us with challenges that test our strength and resilience. But through it all, one truth remains steadfast. God is our refuge, our shield, and our ever-present help in times of trouble. In this time together, we will delve into passages from the book of Psalms that remind us of the awesome nature of our God, a God who not only loves unconditionally, but who also stands guard over us as we sleep, offering us both a sanctuary of peace and a fortress against the trials of life. Our journey this evening is not just about reciting well-known verses. It's about embracing a deep, personal connection with God. I will share with you personal insights and reflections that have guided my own walk with faith. Over the next several thousand words, we will rediscover the power of prayer, the comfort of God's promises, and the assurance that no matter what challenges we face, we are never alone. So, as we prepare to rest, let your heart open to the gentle whispers of divine love, and allow these words to bring you the solace and strength you need. The nature of divine protection and the assurance of God's love. In our lives, the concept of divine protection can sometimes feel abstract or even elusive. Yet, as we meditate on the sacred scriptures, we begin to see a picture emerge, a picture of a loving God who envelops his children in a shield of protection, compassion, and steadfast care. In the ancient texts of the Psalms, we find language that speaks not only of physical safety, but also of a profound spiritual security. Consider for a moment the timeless promise found in Psalm 91, where the psalmist declares, "If you say, 'The Lord is my refuge,' and you make the Most High your dwelling." These words remind us that when we choose to place our trust in God, we align ourselves with a divine force that transcends the mundane troubles of this world. I have personally experienced moments of intense vulnerability times when fear threatened to overwhelm my spirit. In those moments, returning to this promise provided a deep sense of reassurance. It is as if a luminous presence descends upon you, assuring you that no harm will ultimately prevail when you dwell in the shadow of the Almighty. As we journey through life, we often encounter trials that shake our sense of security. Yet, it is precisely in these moments of uncertainty that the promise of divine protection becomes our anchor. When darkness falls and the weight of the day seems unbearable, we can find solace in the knowledge that God's protection is not a fleeting concept, but a permanent, unchanging reality. He is our shield, a fortress that stands against the chaos of life. This assurance has been a guiding light for many, and it continues to be a source of comfort and strength for those who choose to believe. In the midst of life's storms, our hearts are often heavy with worry. But when we center ourselves on the truth of God's unfailing love, we begin to see that our fears are met with an even greater power, the promise of divine protection. The language of the Psalms is rich with imagery. Angels sent by the Lord to guard us, a refuge that shelters us from the onslaught of troubles, and a mighty fortress that no enemy can breach. These images serve as a powerful reminder that no matter what we face, we are never alone. God's love surrounds us, and His protective hand is ever ready to shield us from harm. Reflecting on biblical promises, an in-depth look at Psalms. The book of Psalms is not merely a collection of ancient songs and prayers. It is a living testament to the enduring power of faith and the constant presence of God in our lives. Each psalm, with its unique blend of poetry and emotion, invites us to explore the depths of our own spiritual journeys. As we reflect on these sacred words, we find that the promises contained within them are as relevant today as they were centuries ago. One of the most poignant passages is found in Psalm 91. It speaks of a promise that is echoed through the ages, the promise of refuge and safety under the care of a loving God. The psalmist speaks of God's angels, who are commanded to guard us, ensuring that no harm comes near our dwelling. This image of divine guardianship has resonated with countless believers, offering a sense of security that transcends human understanding. In my own moments of doubt and fear, I have often turned to these words as a source of strength. There is a profound comfort in knowing that the same God who spoke these promises to the ancient Israelites is with us today. Whether we are facing physical dangers or the more subtle threats of anxiety and despair, God's promise of protection remains unwavering. The Psalms remind us that our trust in God is not misplaced. It is a declaration of faith that opens the door to divine intervention and peace. Furthermore, Psalm 145 enriches our understanding of God's greatness. It is a hymn of praise that acknowledges the vastness of God's majesty and the boundless scope of His loving kindness. The psalmist writes, "Great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. His greatness is unsearchable." These words are not merely poetic expressions. They are a call to recognize that our God is beyond measure, a God whose power and compassion know no limits. As I reflect on these verses, I am reminded of the many ways in which God's presence has transformed my life, turning moments of despair into opportunities for growth and renewal. The Bible is replete with promises that offer us hope and guidance. Yet it is not enough to simply recite these verses. We must allow them to permeate our hearts and minds, transforming our outlook on life. This deeper engagement with Scripture is what transforms a routine prayer into a life-affirming experience. It is in this space of intimate reflection that we begin to understand the true meaning of divine protection, not just as a shield against external threats, but as a constant reminder of God's unending love and care. As we explore these passages together, I encourage you to reflect on your own experiences. Think of a time when you felt lost or overwhelmed, and consider how the promise of God's protection might have offered you solace. Perhaps it was a night when fear crept in as darkness fell, or a moment of uncertainty when the future seemed too daunting to face. In these moments, the words of the Psalms can serve as a beacon of hope, reminding us that we are held in the gentle, yet firm, hands of a loving God. Testimonies of God's unwavering protection and care. There is no substitute for personal experience when it comes to understanding the power of divine protection. I have encountered moments in my life where the weight of fear and uncertainty seemed almost unbearable. Yet, in those very moments, I discovered that God's presence was more palpable than ever, a light shining through the darkest night. One such experience occurred during a particularly trying time in my life. I was faced with a series of personal setbacks that left me feeling isolated and vulnerable. The night seemed endless, and the fear of the unknown loomed large. In the midst of my despair, I turned to prayer. Clinging to the promises of the Psalms as my sole source of comfort. As I recited the words, "The Lord is my refuge and my fortress," I felt a profound shift within my heart. It was as if an invisible hand reached out, reassuring me that I was not alone. This personal encounter with divine protection reaffirmed my faith and instilled in me a renewed sense of hope. Another time, I witnessed the transformative power of prayer in the life of a dear friend. Overwhelmed by grief and the burden of loss, she found herself teetering on the edge of despair. In one particularly vulnerable moment, she shared with me how quiet, heartfelt prayer before sleep had become her nightly ritual, a prayer echoing the promises of Psalm 91. "I feel safe, even in the dead of night," she confided. Her words resonated deeply with me, underscoring the truth that God's protection is not limited by time or circumstance. It is a constant, unfailing presence that can lift us out of our darkest hours and guide us into a place of peace. These personal testimonies are not isolated incidents. They are threads in the vast tapestry of divine love and care that has been woven throughout human history. They remind us that faith is not just an abstract concept or a set of recited words. It is a lived experience, one that touches the very core of our being. In sharing these stories, I hope to encourage you to reflect on your own journey and recognize the countless ways in which God's protection has manifested in your life. It is important to note that the experience of divine protection is not always dramatic or accompanied by miraculous signs. Often, it is found in the quiet moments of reassurance, a gentle thought that dispels a wave of fear, a sudden sense of calm in the midst of turmoil, or the quiet assurance that, despite life's uncertainties, we are held in the embrace of a loving God. These moments, though subtle, are profound. They are reminders that, even when the world seems hostile and unpredictable, the divine presence remains our constant companion. I encourage you to take a moment now, as you listen to this prayer, to remember your own moments of divine encounter. Recall a time when you felt enveloped by a sense of peace, even as challenges swirled around you. Let that memory serve as a reminder that God's protection is real, that His love is constant, and that every night, as you close your eyes, you can rest in the assurance of His care. Meditative prayer and reflection for a peaceful night's sleep. As the day draws to a close and you prepare to enter a state of rest, it is essential to create an atmosphere of peace and tranquility, one in which the heart can open up to the divine. The practice of meditative prayer offers us a pathway to connect deeply with God, to silence the cacophony of everyday worries, and to step into a space of divine comfort. Begin by finding a quiet, comfortable place where you can sit or lie down without interruption. Allow your body to relax and your mind to quiet. As you do so, invite the presence of the Almighty into your space. Reflect on the words of Psalm 4-8. "In peace I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety." Let these words wash over you, dissolving any residual tension or fear. In these moments of quiet reflection, consider the symbolism of sleep itself. Sleep is not merely a physical state, it is a spiritual surrender, a moment when we entrust our cares and burdens into the hands of our Creator. When you allow yourself to sleep in the shadow of the Almighty, you are making a conscious choice to trust in His divine protection. This is not a passive act, but an active declaration of faith, a testament to the belief that, regardless of the challenges of the day, God's love and care will carry you through the night. As you settle into this meditative state, let your mind wander over the promises of God's protection. Imagine His angels, as described in Psalm 91, gently encircling you, each one a messenger of His unwavering commitment to keep you safe. It is in this state of prayerful meditation that the heart becomes receptive to the gentle nudges of faith. As you breathe deeply, each inhalation is a reminder of God's grace entering your life, and each exhalation is a release of the worries that weigh you down. The rhythm of your breath mirrors the steady, comforting cadence of God's promises, a lullaby of protection and hope that guides you into a peaceful slumber. In my own practice of meditative prayer, I have found that allowing myself to be fully present in these moments has transformed my nights. Instead of drifting into restless sleep filled with anxious thoughts, I am enveloped by a sense of divine peace. This peace does not mean that life is without challenges. Rather, it is the calm assurance that, no matter what tomorrow may bring, I am held in the loving arms of the one who never fails. Let this meditation be a personal invitation for you as well. As you listen to these words, allow yourself to be drawn into the experience of divine intimacy. Know that each prayer, each moment of silence is an opportunity to renew your faith, to reconnect with the power of God's protection, and to embrace a night of restful, undisturbed sleep. Embracing divine protection in everyday life. In closing, I want to leave you with a few lasting lessons that I have learned on my journey of faith. Trust is transformative. Surrendering your worries and placing your trust in God is not a sign of weakness. It is the cornerstone of true strength. Every moment of fear is an opportunity to exercise your faith and allow God's protection to envelop you. Gratitude opens the heart. In every challenge, find a reason to be thankful. In every challenge, find a reason to be thankful. Gratitude transforms our perspective and helps us see that even in our darkest moments, there is a wellspring of divine mercy waiting to nourish our souls. Prayer and meditation are lifelines. The act of prayer is a dialogue with the divine. Make it a daily habit to communicate your hopes, your fears, and your dreams. In the quiet moments of meditation, you will discover that the presence of God is both a shield and a comforter. Your story is a beacon of hope. Each personal testimony of God's intervention, no matter how small, contributes to the grand tapestry of divine grace. Share your journey with others, and in doing so, help illuminate the path for those who are still seeking light in their own lives. Every night brings a new beginning. As the day ends, embrace the peace that comes with rest. Each night is an opportunity to reset, to let go of the burdens of the day, and to trust that tomorrow holds the promise of renewed strength and endless possibilities. Let these lessons resonate in your heart as you continue your journey, knowing that each day is a testament to the unwavering love and protection of a God who cares deeply for you. And as you awaken with the light of a new day, carry with you the lessons learned and the promise that no matter where your path leads, divine protection will always be by your side. Thank you for sharing these moments with me. May your nights be peaceful, your dreams be blessed, and your heart be filled with the joy of knowing that you are never alone. God bless you abundantly, now and forever. Thank you for joining me on this heartfelt journey of prayer and reflection. I hope the words and insights shared here have brought you comfort and renewed hope. Remember, every night is an opportunity to embrace the peace that comes from trusting in God's protection, and every moment of gratitude opens the door to divine blessings. If you found value in this video, please hit the like button, share your prayer requests in the comments, and subscribe to Prayer Decode for more uplifting content. May the divine light guide you tonight and every night. God bless you. Until next time, keep the faith burning bright.